All right, guys, the secret is out. Mount Lebanon is one of Pittsburgh's favorite suburbs for a reason.
And in this video, we're going to show you why it ranks so high on our clients' list when they're relocating to Pittsburgh.
Yep, so we're going to cover the different sections of Mount Lebanon, why they differ, and why people choose some over others, along with some reasons why people roll this area out completely, and secrets on the real estate market.
So Mount Lebanon's around 7 miles from downtown Pittsburgh. Some areas of Mount Lebo are a little bit closer to downtown than others. It's one of the most popular areas within the South Hills, with about an average residency of 30,000 people.
Correct. It's a pretty large suburb, and why people like it a lot is you have a lot of older architecture, some like Tudor style homes, cottage style homes, and just very unique homes, which range in price around $250,000 all the way like above $3 million. So definitely some options for luxury in the suburb, and goes well for families because number one, you're getting all of that square footage, but number two, you have Mount Lebanon High School and lots of different elementary schools, which are all nationally ranked blue ribbon districts. So that brings a lot of families to this area for good reason.
So there's a few things that I absolutely love about Mount Lebanon. The first are the parks here. They're absolutely beautiful with brand new tennis courts at different locations. Now they have pickleball as well. When I was growing up here, they didn't have pickleball. That's not as mainstream as it is now. But I grew up playing tennis all of the time with some of my friends. And let me tell you, these parks are second to none within the Pittsburgh suburbs. On top of that, I love the business districts here. So there's so many small mom and pop shops where you don't have all just the big box brands. So I'm somebody that loves to support small business, so it's so exciting to see all the different coffee shops. Sure, I love my Starbucks, but I love to try something new as well and support small business. So that's always an exciting thing to do. And these small businesses here are thriving and some of the best I've seen. And besides just the business parks and the tennis courts here, what I really love about Mount Lebanon is the tight-knit community. This place over a lot of Pittsburgh suburbs really feels like home, and it feels like everybody has each other's back. So our father is actually a contractor who owns a roofing company. So when I was a kid, he would take me here when he had a lot of his jobs, and he'd set up a lemonade stand. And let me tell you, the community here really took care of me. When I was around 12 years old, they would give me tips of like $20 to $50, which back then that's like making thousands, right? But no, really just a great area, very child friendly, dog friendly, and just a place that really makes you feel like a part of their tribe. It makes you feel at home.
It really is. The sense of community here is actually like second to none. Me and George, brother and sister, we spent a ton of time here growing up as children, but we still we're here probably every other day. We know like every single section of Mount Lebanon just from spending time here. Our father probably put on a fourth of the roofs here and does a lot of contracting work. So a lot of good memories in this area. My favorite is really going to the parks. We always play tennis there. It's really good environment. But my favorite thing to do here is really go to Mediterra Cafe on Beverly Road.
She loves her Mediterra.
I do, because listen, they have, not only is like the coffee options amazing, like we went there this morning, George got a cold brew, and they actually put in like a separate container so you do the pour yourself, which is just really cool presentations.
Exactly. It was my first time ever getting cold brew from there. It was very strong, so I didn't finish it all, but amazing.
They give you a lot. They give you like two full cups.
It was like getting a craft cocktail how they served it, like going to like a luxury place. And the cold brew was only around $5, which I was extremely shocked by for how much they gave you compared to other coffee shop prices. Plus the presentation and that huge piece of ice. But yeah, very exciting to see that this morning.
Yeah, made his day. But also, like you said, like a craft cocktail, they do really good cocktails there, really good healthy options, along with tons of food. So they have breakfast and more like deli style with sandwiches. Every day there's a new soup, and then their pastry and their presentation of the pastries, blown away. And as you guys know, if you've been on this channel before, I am gluten-free, so they have all of the best gluten-free options in town. And one more thing, the deconstructed latte. Like George is probably getting annoyed. I could go on and on. I love this place, but it just shows like really good businesses with more like health conscious options. And I keep
ducking under some trees here.
And another thing I love about this area is all of the old growth trees. As you guys will see from the drone footage we put up, this area is loaded with some of the most mature trees in Pittsburgh. It really feels like you're like in a forested community, and just gives it like such a nature aspect where the properties have beautiful views from the window, and just in your backyard you feel very private.
Yeah, if you would drop me off here with a blindfold and I didn't know where I was at, I would never suspect that we're only 15 minutes from downtown here.
We are, and then there's even some sections of Mount Lebanon that are only about 10 minutes from downtown, and actually really close to the airport too, so probably about 20 minutes. So it's going to be a little bit northwest of this area, but it's a very convenient location. It's like one of the suburbs that are right on the outskirts from being in the city limits, right next to Dormont.
So one thing, if you guys have tuned into this channel, that you know about me and Rylee, is we love walking. And this place has beautiful sidewalks throughout the suburb. So if you saw our last video, we were just in Cranberry Township, which I like in some ways, but the biggest thing I didn't like about it was it didn't have that same sense of community because of the highways and all of the different strip malls, where this place has its business district, all of its small businesses, and the Cranberry was more like, oh, here, drive a few minutes, go into one complex that has, you know, your Starbucks, Walmart, whatever. And this place definitely feels more community. Sorry, another tree there. Like we said, lots of trees. But yeah, the sidewalks make it great to walk around at. But remember, every neighborhood here doesn't have great sidewalks and areas to walk like we are now.
That's a great point. So some sections, like, you won't get any sidewalks in your neighborhood. And this is a thing that a few of my clients have really pointed out and really like narrowed their search down to only certain sections. Because Mount Lebanon's full, I think there's about 7 different sections of different neighborhoods. So some of them you'll have sidewalks, some of them there'll be no sidewalks. So it just makes it more difficult to kind of go on your evening walk.
Yeah, and also remember that at the school district, they don't actually have buses. So that's just like one of the only drawbacks. So if you are moving here and your children plan on walking to school, having an area for them to walk with nice sidewalks definitely helps with the safety and making it easier for them to get there.
Yep, George got into a good con, because we're going to go over all of the cons in this area, but that's one that we've heard also. People rule it out completely because it might not be convenient for them in their work schedule to take their kids to school every day. And that's actually part of the retrograde laws. So if you provide busing to public schools, you also have to do it to private schools in the area. So Mount Lebanon actually does not provide any bus transportation. Each kid does have to walk or get dropped off to school, but could make a big difference where you live if you live close to the high school or not.
Yeah, guys, so make sure you stay till the very end, because that's when we're going to go over all of the things that we don't like about Mount Lebanon. So if you want to see those, make sure you stay tuned.
Yep, and we'll go deep into each section and which one's better than others. Looks like they're doing some renovations behind us, but another good thing to point out is most of these homes are going to be older inventory, mainly built in the 1940s, some a little bit after that, some a little bit before. But if you want new construction, not going to happen here. There's only a few times where they're going to tear down an old property, build a brand new one, and those sell extremely fast.
Very fast.
And George, tell them a little bit about the average days on market and just the overall real estate market here in Mount Lebanon.
Yeah, sure. So right now, the average price of a home here, the median price, goes for around $417,000, making it still an affordable location when it comes to the suburbs of Pittsburgh. But the thing about this market is it's very hot. So if you were to look online, you'll see that usually they say that a house only stays listed for around 30 to 31 days. But from our personal experience in dealing with so many clients, we've noticed they can go within 24 hours to 48 hours, depending on what street it's at, the location, the proximity to the school, and a few other factors. So I would say the market's a lot hotter than what it says online at the 31 days. And from our experiences, we don't see houses lasting for more than a week if they're priced correctly.
Exactly, especially in the market like now. It has cooled off a little bit since the height of like the pandemic and everybody moving and tons of buyers out there with the low interest rates. But we were literally like going there the morning a home would get listed with 20 other people and competing against tons of people. But we weren't scared because we are a good team, so we're really good at crafting offers for people. Not only can we put different clauses in there that will assure you'll beat out other offers, terms of the offer could really, really make a difference.
Exactly. It's not always just about price, it's about the terms. And that's why we've been able to master the skill of negotiation when it comes to this housing.
There's no better feeling than beating out like 15 other offers, calling our clients and saying that they got their dream house. I mean, we're competitive people, so we light up whenever we get that offer accepted.
We like to win. Doing these videos for you guys is fun, but there's nothing better than negotiating a great offer for a client.
100%. Definitely one of my favorite parts about real estate.
Who doesn't like to win, right?
So one thing that's really important to note about this area is the school district brings in a ton of families. So as we're walking now and as we've grew up here and seen a lot of kids, you'll see kids probably in every other house here. So it makes it very nice, especially if you're moving. A lot of you guys are relocating from all over. It's really easy for your kids to have other kids to play with. And there's a ton of different elementary schools here that go with each different section. They're all highly rated along with the high school. So you have kids of really all ages here.
Exactly. When Dad would take us here and I would do the lemonade stand, I made so many neighborhood friends just because the area was just so welcoming. And I've probably been on every single street and at almost every single house in this neighborhood. But yeah, really just a completely friendly family place. When you picture like the American dream, the golden retriever, the family out, playing some basketball and stuff, Mount Lebo really just encompasses all of that.
It really does. And that was a good point about the golden retriever. This is a dog heaven. You have like all the different businesses put down treats and water bowls for your dog. And I would say probably like half of the homes, if not more, have pets in them. So again, if your kids like to play with pets or you guys have dogs yourself, you'll really feel at home here, along with the activeness and how walkable it is. That really contributes to people wanting this area for their dogs. There's lots of parks, but also just lots of like areas like we're in now, which is just quiet streets, perfect for walking your dog like on a daily basis. And also nice yard space. So each different section, like some of them you're going to be pretty close to your neighbors, not even like half an acre of a yard, but then others you're probably right under an acre, and the lots are pretty spacious here as they were built like later in the day. So it's not like the new construction communities where sometimes you're right next to your neighbor, but really good yard space, as you guys will see from the footage we're putting up. Very unique lots, and each section is very different.
Exactly. Every single home here is unique and has its own feel. Rylee mentioned earlier that all the houses are a little bit older and you have some like classic Pittsburgh styles, but really the architecture here is just beautiful. When you're walking through, no house looks the same, which differs from new construction. So they both have their pros and cons, but even though the homes are a little bit older here, it doesn't get boring to look at them, that's for sure.
It doesn't. I would say Mount Lebanon probably has some of the best architecture in the suburbs. It kind of reminds me of like the Squirrel Hill and Shadyside area. You have a lot of like American colonial style, English Tudor style, a lot of slate roofs you'll see here, which last a long time compared to like the typical 30-year on your asphalt shingles. And we're pretty knowledgeable on construction and roofing because we grew up with our father not only owning that company but investing in all of these different areas. He has a pretty impressive investment portfolio, so we were able to grow up going to each of these different neighborhoods and just knowing what a good deal is and what market value should be in each of these suburbs.
Yeah, growing up with our father, we like to think we had a choice in getting into real estate, but at the end of the day, I don't know if we did or not. We were preached real estate since we were little kids, so really thankful that we had that experience and were able to visit so many homes because of the work that he did, and also him being an investor himself gave us an inside track early on. And it's so awesome too to think that my dad and uncle went into business together, and now my sister and I get to do the same thing, and we're so big on family business and truly feel blessed that we have this opportunity to serve you guys.
Yeah, truly. Yeah, we've always been very big on family business, and we're with our dad and our uncle like every single day talking about not only real estate deals. I mean, we're all investors ourselves, so it's really fun investing, but also on the residential side. I think relocation is my favorite personally, meeting all of you guys from out of the state, being able to like hear your stories and match you to that perfect neighborhood based on what you're looking for. So to get into the sections, one of my favorite sections of Mount Lebanon is definitely Mission Hills. Reason is because I probably spent most of my time in Mission Hills It is actually the area that is walking distance to the high school, but also middle school, elementary. So I would say one of the prime locations and one of the most popular locations our clients are looking in. And I have spent a lot of time at that high school, being that a lot of my best friends in this area went to high school there, and they raved about not only just the teachers, the curriculum, but also the different clubs and the sports. And I've been to a lot of the football games at Mount Lebanon. It's really a school like no other. They actually just renovated the entire high school. They have 2 NFL football fields. They have a swimming pool in the recreation center, an ice hockey rink, along with some like water slides going into the pool, and just very, very active, lots of parks outside of that high school. So it makes it a really like fun environment to just hang out even after you get off.
Yeah, it truly is a great location when you're talking about Mount Lebanon. Not that there's really any bad part, but right there, the real estate goes for around $450,000 to $800,000. So we have a little bit of a difference from the starting price to the higher end, but the area is really worth it just because of the parks all around you, the location and proximity to the school, all of the food trucks and different businesses that you're in walking distance to. My wife and I are talking about having a child soon, so we've been looking at houses in this area ourselves and think this is at the top of the list right now.
Yeah, you can't beat the walking distance to like all 3 schools. So whether you are planning to stay there for a while and you have kids that are little, they could go to that elementary school and grow up and be able to walk right over to the high school, sometimes literally like 1 street over. Unless it's raining or snowing, then I would say drop them off.
Yeah, what a great school district too. Half of my friends that went to Mount Lebanon ended up going to either Penn State with me, some went to Ivy League schools after, so high school really prepared them. They have to accelerate and do well in college. The majority of them are engineers and also in finance, so yeah, great school.
It is, and also who went there that we know in this area?
Well, I don't know if we know him that well, Rylee. We know him about as well as the rest of America does, but this is actually the hometown of Shark Tank's superstar, Mark Cuban.
Yeah, shout out to Mark Cuban if you're watching this.
Yeah, what's up, Mark?
But we love Shark Tank also. If you guys watch it, comment down below, because that's one of the only shows that we watch.
Yeah, we love our Shark Tank.
And one more thing about Mission Hills, the properties there, they're usually about like 4 to 5 bedrooms. You're getting a little more space than you would in other sections of Mount Lebanon, like the section kind of closer to Castle Shannon. A lot of times the properties could be a little bit tighter in that area and less yard space. But even as we're walking these streets here, it's like every single exterior is different. Some of them have peaks, some of them have flat roofs, and it just really adds to like the diversity of this area.
So another amazing thing about the Mount Lebanon area, we're only about 5 minutes away from South Hills Village Mall, which is one of the top rated malls in all of Pittsburgh. Very great place. We just went to a restaurant called Piatta's. It was like an Italian Chipotle. I never went there before. Me and Rylee got salads, really enjoyed the place. But besides Piatta's, that's not all there is to talk about. So there's a BJ's brew house there, the mall, movie theater, tons of places to eat, and there's even a Jared Diamond store. That's actually where I got my ring for my wife at. And she goes there pretty regularly to get it cleaned, not to keep buying more jewelry.
Or not to go to the mall that's a minute away.
Yeah, at least she doesn't tell me if she does, but no, great area and tons of stuff to do there.
Yeah, no, truly is. I go to that mall very often. I even like it better than Ross Park a little bit because I feel like there's just more like realistic options for everyday life. And what's nice is in that mall you also have Target, Dick's Sporting Goods, a lot of the bigger chains. Across the street you have Whole Foods and Trader Joe's, which you guys know I'm obsessed with.
And Barnes & Noble, which I love to read, so that's always a great location to stop by. I am guilty though. I do like buying the books more than I like reading them sometimes, and I'll buy too many at once, but it is fun.
Yeah, and then what I like also is you have like a wine bar there, you have First Watch Daytime Cafe. So it's just like different things. It's not your typical suburb with only a few options. Really gets that good variety where you don't even have to go into the city ever if you don't want.
Yeah, and so many places to work out too within the area. So many different gyms and just like fitness locations and training centers.
I love the Anytime Fitness here, it's awesome. So speaking of South Hills Village Mall, what's also really close to that is the Galleria, where we actually just went to grab a Starbucks, another coffee for the day.
A lot of coffee here, but we do a lot of business.
Yeah, but we just took a little break there, went on our computers, and what's nice is the environment. Like, they have a waterfall right in there, along with just greenery in the place and lots of places where you could eat, shop, and just sit down, get some work done. And the section that is actually in Mount Lebanon, that's right next to the Galleria and also South Hills Village Mall, is going to be Markham, and some people also call it Beverly Heights. So this section is going to give you the best access to the grocery stores, the mall, the Galleria, and kind of the more suburban shopping compared to maybe like Uptown and the more like walkable mom and pop businesses. So in this area, homes are typically built in the 1930s. They're going to be really in that $500,000 range. And this is probably one of the most popular sections as well, just because people love that quick access. Mount Lebanon is a kind of busy area, so some sections you're going to have to deal with a lot of traffic compared to others, especially whenever you get to the tighter roads and you're kind of tucked there away in the woods compared to something where you're really close to that major highway and you could just jump on the highway and get up to all of the shops. And what I love about this area is the lots on these homes are much larger than a lot of other sections. And you see a lot of like brick Tudor style properties, amazing lots and amazing yard space. And the homes are also larger there as well. So it does make it better for like families and if you're coming with a few people living in the property. And also from that location, you could actually walk right down to the trolley, which is the T station, which Mount Lebanon and the South Hills are our only suburbs that have access to this T station, making it a big deal. I have a lot of investors that actually look in Mount Lebanon just because they know that T line actually provides good opportunity for people to commute without having to drive. So investors tend to like this area, along with just people looking to kind of get down to the city because the T line goes directly into downtown. So if there's a concert, a sports game, it makes it convenient where you don't have to drive if you have a few drinks.
Yeah, growing up, having that trolley was super convenient. Whenever I would go to my friends' houses that lived in the area, we were kids, only 13 years old, so none of us could drive, but we could just hop on that, go to a Pirate game, go downtown and do whatever we wanted in Pittsburgh, and it was really fun.
Yeah, super good addition. And one more thing about the transportation here, a lot of times if you're going into downtown, you will have to go through a tunnel, which is the Liberty Tubes, people call them. So keep that in mind because that could add some time to the commute from downtown. So maybe instead of 10 to 15 minutes, if you're going during rush hour, could add an extra 5 to 10 minutes to that.
Yeah, so nothing too major, but still something to be aware about.
Yeah, people laugh whenever I tell them about our traffic here. Like from California, from New York, from Washington, D.C. They're like, come on, Rylee, you think this is traffic? They honestly put me to shame, but I'm still like, it's traffic relative to where we live and still something to keep in mind. But yeah, nothing like LA or any of those different major cities.
Completely different. We've been to the major cities a lot of times, and yeah, now I understand why people laugh at us when we joke about it in Pittsburgh about our traffic.
I know, LA is a whole different animal with all of those like 4-lane highways, and it still takes you 2 hours.
Yeah. So Sunset Hills is one of my favorite sections in Mount Lebanon for a few reasons. One is the tree lines here, absolutely beautiful. Like we mentioned before, we love the trees, love going for walks. And another thing is the community there. So in that area particularly, they would always have different events on the street where neighbors would come together and really have that sense of community. Sometimes they would have live music, different food vendors, and games out on the street. So it was a great way to connect with the community. And another thing, if you guys love golf, that's where the golf course is. So if you want to go hit the links, like I like to do from time to time, that is a great area to be in.
Yeah, and also you are the closest probably to downtown Pittsburgh in that section. So you're probably only 5 miles away. So it's super convenient if you are someone that commutes downtown. But another good thing to mention about that area is the homes are smaller. It makes it particularly good for first-time home buyers, or if you don't need a huge amount of square footage. Homes typically there, I would say, sell around like $400,000. So usually like one of the more affordable sections of Mount Lebanon.
I also love all of the cul-de-sacs in the area, making it a great place for kids to ride bikes. I used to ride bikes all the time in the area, and there's not too much traffic with cars, so it's a pretty safe area when it comes to like riding bikes and hanging out as a kid compared to other areas. Very quiet streets. I'm somebody that prefers the suburbs and not too much chaos and commotion. I already had enough of that in my early years, but now I just like the quiet life, and this location really encompasses all of that.
And there's really nice like backyard space. So you'll see a lot of nice patios. And I will say, if you're looking at properties, there's some properties that are going to be a lot more affordable than others. And big reasoning is they just are dated inside. So it's mainly cosmetics, which is something like is gold to our father and us when we're looking at investment properties. Because if something has good bones, if it's completely brick and it only needs like paint and new carpet and maybe a little updates on the kitchen, that is great opportunity to go in, add value to the neighborhood, and location. So get in a good location at a good price. So one more thing about Mount Lebanon and just the different sections is some of these homes have like larger driveways that are much longer, and some of them have super steep steps. So that could be a hassle, like bringing your groceries in every day, especially in the winter whenever all of these steps get icy. You have to dust them all off and they're super steep. So the sections of Mount Lebanon truly matter the most.
Yeah, we cannot stress how much the sections actually do matter. It's not even funny. It's a pretty ridiculous story though. We had a client move here before he was our client, and he purchased a house on one street in Mount Lebanon. Came here, absolutely hated it. He found us through the YouTube channel. We got in contact with him, found him his dream house, only 5 minutes away from the area that he chose. So make sure to call us so that doesn't happen to you. We were able to make him happy and actually list the house, and so he was able to break even on that and get him into a new property as soon as possible. But not even a funny story, but that was something that really sticks out in my mind when thinking about this area.
We did, and he might be watching this right now, so if you are, hello.
Yeah, we're not going to say his name for confidentiality, but
you wouldn't mind. But the funny part is also, I guess it's not funny, but the serious part is that we were competing against like 6 other people when we put the offer in on the property he was moving to, and we did get that accepted with like that clause we put in there, but also the terms. He had pretty flexible terms, which worked out very well to get him in that. And listing a house and buying another one is never an easy process, but we work through that literally all the time because we have clients listing their properties in different states and then buying them here, and really timing out that process to make sure maybe you could close the same exact day as your other home closes, or maybe like the day after, but making sure that time is coordinated properly is an important factor in making sure the move goes as smooth as possible.
And what felt so great about that client and helping him was he went from hating Pittsburgh to absolutely loving it, only moving 5 minutes away. The only thing we wish is that he could have called us beforehand, but it doesn't really matter since we were able to negotiate great terms for him. So he ended up not losing money, just a little bit of time, but now we have him and we work with him on investments as well. So great guy.
Yeah, great point, because the sections do matter extremely. Like he said, like he didn't like the city of Pittsburgh just because he was a few streets over from where really felt like home to him. All right, time to put the finance man on the spot. George, give us some cons about Mount Lebanon.
All right, guys. Well, I know we've been talking Mount Lebanon up this entire video, but it is because we do have a lot of great memories in the area, but not everything can be fairy tales, right? So one of the cons to Mount Lebanon are the taxes. Dun, dun, dun. But houses here range, let's say a $500,000 house, you're going to be paying anywhere from $7,000 to around $13,000 in taxes, depending on the assessed value. And like we said before, that is because of the school district. So if you are somebody that doesn't plan on having a family or have a family already and plan on enrolling your kids in the local schools, this might not be the location for you. Even though we do have some clients that don't have families that move here because they just love the area in general, but those school taxes can really add up, and I understand how that can be a major con for a lot of people.
All right, George, hitting you with another one, real estate expert. What is another con about Mount Lebanon?
I hope our Mount Lebo friends don't see this. No, just kidding. Another con of the area is there is no new construction. So most of the houses here are built around the 1940s. And like we said earlier in the video, if there is something that ends up being completely rehabbed or there is a new build in the area, that gets snatched up instantly and it is gone within 24 to 48 hours a lot of the time. So if new construction is something that's important to you, which a lot of our clients do call us for new construction, Mount Lebanon might not be the right area for you.
Correct. Yeah, we do a lot of work with new builders, new construction, lots of things mainly in our suburbs, and that's something where people are looking for new construction. Mount Lebanon's never even on that list. Usually you're looking like, even in Washington County, if you're looking at the South Hills, we're more like Peters Township, Valencia Borough, and lots of areas south of the city.
And guys, we know every new builder here. A lot of them are family friends, people that we grew up with in the area. So make sure you do give us a call because we know about all of the tax incentives, the rebates they're offering, and the best new construction deals there are because we hang out with half of these guys.
And a con about Mount Lebanon that I just experienced firsthand myself, I went to go get breakfast with George, talk about our day, and then he's actually meeting one of you guys at Mediterra while I'm headed off to a showing. And I get back, I'm probably 5 minutes over the timeline. I put it in for an hour. I didn't realize I was 5 minutes over, but I probably am. And I got issued a parking violation for $15. Yeah, that's awful. They don't play around here, so make sure you put your time so that this does not happen to you. And I've heard a lot of people say this before, that Mount Lebanon takes their parking tickets and just any violation very seriously, so something to keep in mind.
Guys, another very important thing to consider when purchasing in Mount Lebanon is the age of the homes and what that means when it comes to renovations or any other costs that you'll have when coming to repairing the property. So I would never want to go up to your max purchase price and everything that you have to purchase the home with, because there may be repairs that are needed, some that could be very costly, like hot water tanks, roofs, or if you have a wife like mine, she might want to renovate the kitchen because like we said, this isn't new construction, so some of the stuff can be a little dated, still very nice, but dated. So you want to make sure you have some wiggle room for the major repairs and also just any upgrades you'd like to make in the homes.
Correct. Really, really good point. Now, we've had some people having to actually like dig sewer lines in this area because a lot of the sewers here are older, made of terracotta. Sometimes they rust, sometimes you'll find cracks, and sometimes you'll find tree roots. So I believe it's now a standard with Mount Lebanon to put that responsibility on the sellers here to actually get that sewer line scope done before the property closes, which is really nice. So it saves buyers the money, and especially if there's something wrong with it, it saves them negotiating those repair costs, which before that was actually intact. It's honestly a newer standard from the township. Before that was intact, we made sure we were negotiating these sewer line repairs. Some of them you could see them up to $15,000, which is absolutely ridiculous. But also, like, when you get your inspections, these are older homes, so you want to be prepared for that. It's not new construction. It's not even like newer inventory built in the 2000s or late 1900s. A lot of these were built in the early 1900s, so you're going to see a ton of little things that the inspector is going to find. So we really work with you to find out what's worth negotiating, what are the costs you'll incur in the future if you don't fix this now, especially with our dad in construction. He could really give you guys like a breakdown of the cost on what's this going to take, how big of a problem this is, because sometimes inspectors will just give you the report, give you a call, and really don't know much about the actual cost. That's when they refer you off to contractors. So a big part of our business is calling up our dad, like anytime you guys need him. Call him up and he'll give you the cost on everything and really what's important. And he also has crews here that could fix things for very affordable prices. Even if you guys do a Google search, Madden Brothers Roofing, you'll see raving reviews because, I mean, we all stand for family business and just good business here in Pittsburgh.
And to get that information from our father, all you have to do is take him out for a steak dinner. No, we're just kidding.
Wait, where does he live? Texas Roadhouse.
Texas Roadhouse, yeah. So there's this new thing that we found out recently about Texas Roadhouse that we never knew before, because it is kind of like a weird thing. So you can actually go there and buy the steak without them cooking it for a discounted price. And our dad really likes to cook too, so he'll go there, pick up some New York strips that are uncooked, remember this, and then take them home, season them himself, and then grill them out, and they're amazing. But I'm just kidding about the steak thing. If anything, we're going to have to buy him the steak.
Yeah, no, seriously, but Texas Roadhouse, side note, I love their steaks. They actually age them for like 28 days, and then you just have all of the juice in there. And we literally do family dinners all of the time. We'll grab Texas Roadhouse steaks, put in some sweet potatoes, make a salad.
So when you guys come into Pittsburgh, maybe we'll take you out to Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah, there we go. And Texas Roadhouse actually like flat presses their steaks, so they cook really fast, but my dad makes them a completely different way. So maybe you guys will get a private invite for George Madden, also George Madden Jr., but he's a great cook. So to touch about one of my favorite parts again about Mount Lebanon is going to be the business districts. My favorite in particular is Beverly Road. So this is where Mediterra is, but also you have like an ice cream shop called Scoops, which I always loved to go to with my friends. That was a place we would always go to growing up. Just ice cream, walking around, goofing off. But also what I really like is there's boutiques on that road. There's spa services, so it really encompasses like everything I could want. It's such a cute road, and they always do events in the winter, in the summer, farmers markets, and really just like the hallmark street, Beverly Road. Write that down.
So that's where me and Rylee disagree the most. You know, that's not a bad area at all, but I'm not into the boutiques or some of the restaurants she likes. Sometimes I think they're just a little bit too bougie for me. But I like uptown mostly. There's a lot of great locations to go grab a drink, tons of places to watch sports at with your friends. So that's my area of preference, but hey, different things for different people, right?
Yeah, I would say uptown does have more to offer. Beverly Road is really just like a small road with maybe a total of 10 businesses. Uptown, I think it goes all the way up into Dormont. So it's like that strip of continued businesses and good variety. I like Jade Grill there, so it's a good place to grab some sushi. And like he said, there is a lot of sports places. You could grab a drink and watch sports games, eat your wings, whatever you boys like to do.
Yeah, and if you're moving to Pittsburgh, one thing you'll notice here, people love their sports. I like my sports. I'm not the biggest sports fan in the world, but I do enjoy watching the Steelers. Yeah,
the Steelers are great. And also we have the Stanley Cup champions, which there's also a hockey ice rink in Mount Lebanon in their athletic center, which is super cool because there's a lot of like inside places to skate, play ice hockey, especially because we're home to the Penguins, so there probably should be, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's an amenity that most colleges don't even have, but they have it here for their high school, just giving it another pillar to stand on of excellence.
Yeah, and that high school has been renovated, so my friends weren't even there when it was renovated, but it was a super nice district then. Now it's just honestly college campus. They put a lot of money into that. That's where a lot of the tax dollars go, so it does make it a good convenience if you are having kids for this area, but if you're not, again, that could be like a deterrent for you.
Guys, this has been a record-breaking hot summer in Pittsburgh. It's been like 90 degrees every single day, and at our current homes we do not have a pool, plus we're out here doing work anyways. But I will say I do appreciate these trees even more because they've been giving us shade this entire walk, and we've been walking miles today.
Yeah, that's the one thing that really sets Mount Lebanon apart is all of the trees, all of the privacy compared to like some new construction communities where a lot of our clients build. Sometimes they're just planting the trees, so you really aren't going to get privacy for at least a decade. But here, everything's already grown out. Gives it such a beautiful nature setting. You hear the birds chirping behind us, and just waking up here in the morning, when I would stay over at my friend's house, we would always go on the back porch and just listen to the birds, get up early, grab a coffee, go on a walk. Probably my like favorite part about this area. So really, if you are someone that's coming with a family here, if you are someone that values that active lifestyle, if you're a dog owner or someone just looking for like more of a walkable suburb, you don't necessarily want to be in the city of Pittsburgh, but you still want to enjoy like the character, the mom and pop shops, the architecture, and of course that walkability, then I would say Mount Lebanon would be like the perfect alternative for you. Plus, not only do you get all of the conveniences of the character, the walkability, but you're also getting the conveniences of the suburbs, such as Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, the mall, and really good amenities, lots of grocery options, and lots of like your bigger chain stores too.
And believe us, we check the market every single day, and these homes are starting to go very fast. So if you are somebody that's relocating to Pittsburgh, our goal is to make this as easy and seamless as possible for you. So if you're moving here, we can do virtual tours. You can contact us really 24/7. We're always on the phone. We're always on the ground. We're going to these houses every single day in every single neighborhood. So make sure to contact us. And if you're somebody that's also in the area looking to relocate, we can assist you too. So we definitely like to serve both clients, but we do have a lot of out-of-state clients coming into this area.
All right, George, where are we going next?
Well, we're going to get something to eat now, but guys, comment down below where you want us to go next. We're in Pittsburgh every single day and all the suburbs around, and we'd love to hear from you and showcase whatever you guys want to see.
Yeah, and also comment down below where you're moving to Pittsburgh from. We're super curious. We have people coming from all different states, so we love to see where people are moving from, and hopefully we get to help you on your big move here. All right, time to eat, brother, sister team.
All right,
out.
see you guys in the next video.